Hello, I'm Rebecca from ChemKnits, and I'm here today to dye 100 grams of 100% wool yarn with some Hawaiian Punch. I pre-soaked the yarn in just plain tap water for about an hour, and then I used the salad spinner to remove as much of the excess liquid as I can. So the fibers are damp, but I want there to be as much space for the Hawaiian Punch in here as possible. I'm hoping to get a sort of kettle dyed, maybe there'll be some subtle variations of color within here, but mostly solid. So I'm going to add the Hawaiian Punch to this container, and then we'll microwave it to set the color. The Hawaiian Punch has, and the flavor is fruity, juicy red. It has both red number 40 and blue number 1 in it. And this container is a 2-liter Pyrex, so I'm curious if I will actually be able to fit all of the liquid into the container, how much space the yarn will take up. But because the fibers were pre-soaked, it should, you can see that it's being absorbed nicely by the fiber. Oh man. Alright, maybe I will add this to the microwave and then pour the last little bit of punch into the pot. There we go. There we go. Alright, if I tip that, we will get a lot of spilling. But I do now have the whole 2 liters of Hawaiian Punch in this glass Pyrex measuring cup with the yarn. And I'm going to heat it up and we will see how bright of a color we get out of this Hawaiian Punch. I have now microwaved the fiber for a total of 20 minutes, and there is still some color that has not yet absorbed to the yarn. I think it finally started steaming around 17 minutes or so, but I think I will give it one more maybe 5-minute push before allowing it to cool completely. So after a total of 25 minutes, alright, we are definitely hot to touch. I know you guys probably can't see, but we do have some bubbling in the center, which means that we basically got this yarn to a simmer. And it looks like the dye has mostly cleared. I am now going to just leave this here to cool until the either the dye has cleared from the water or it's cool to touch and I can remove it. It has been a little over an hour since I left you, and this is still very warm to touch. I would say it's a nice drinkable warm, like tea. And the top is also sticky, so I have a feeling this will need a bit of washing so that way it still has a nice texture. But most of the color has cleared. Since this is 100% wool, I do not want to agitate the fibers too much, but I do think that I will remove it from the pot so that way it will cool faster. Oh, check out that pink. I can already tell right now, since some of the yarn was floating at the surface a bit, that we are going to have some nice, really subtle variations of color that would give a beautiful hand-dyed look to any project. But I'm curious to see how vibrant this color is once the yarn dries. But for now, I'm going to let the fibers finish cooling completely before we wash it. My hands definitely feel a bit sticky now from running them through the cooled off fiber, but look how brilliant that color is. I have added just some Dawn dish soap to the rinse bath, and well, you can't really see because of the suds, but the color is staying in the fiber. But actually I don't know if it's just the soap or if it's all the other sugar and gunk that's in the fiber, but we will rinse this a few times to help get anything sticky off of it and come back with the finished dry yarn. Wow, look at that pink. This is so bright. For comparison, here's some pink yarn that I dyed using 1 packet of pink lemonade Kool-Aid and 40 drops of neon pink food coloring. And you know, this yarn that we dyed with Hawaiian Punch is basically just as vibrant. It might be a little more salmon-y than the other yarn, but it's a very, very deep saturated pink. The yarn looks solid, but I would actually call it more of a semi-solid. It's a little hard to see, but there are some very, very subtle tonal variations within this yarn, which will give it a really fun hand-dyed feel on whatever project it turns into. Thank you so much for joining me for this fun dyeing experiment where we dyed yarn with Hawaiian Punch. If you're a fan of the ChemKnits Tutorials channel, make sure you check out the Dye Pot Weekly Kickstarter campaign. You have a limited opportunity to acquire some yarn dyed by ChemKnits. In exchange, you are helping support the materials and dyes that I use in these really fun dyeing videos. Thank you so much for your support.